I find it so interesting that when I'm speaking up against Grange Falls Police Department, that I receive a Facebook message from them saying that they have seen that I have discontent for them. But they have also stated in that message that they don't know anything about the issues. Yet, where my posting of the discontent, including videos, pretty drastically expresses the reasons for the discontent. They don't address those, and they say, hey, you can contact this person, the assistant chief, who is our IA attorney affairs. However, that assistant chief, along with many others, knew about the incidents and did nothing. Here's the another interesting aspect of this. I ask pretty much, I don't know who exactly this is, because when they Facebook messaged me, they didn't put their name on the bottom. Or otherwise provide their identification. So all I know is it's somebody from Grange Falls Police Department, not sure who. Could be the assistant chief. Because I do not deal with lying, I blocked them on the Facebook Messenger. I can still, of course, post. Here's the reality of this whole situation when it comes to me. Again, by definition, I'm the only U.S. citizen to have seen a first responder, to have dealt with a first responder being killed by another first responder, and to be tortured by first responders and others, and to have first responders cover it up. I have seen some pretty horrific things that are disgusting. Here's the other reality. I've also seen some pretty decent human beings in law enforcement and other first responding. In fact, a few years ago, I became pretty much aware that I have chronic low blood sugar due to extreme pancreatic damage due to the torture event, physical abuse, severe overdrugging, DNA issue, which probably is a simple tumor. A lot of my family has some type of sugar issues, from extreme diabetic, pre-diabetic, diabetic 1 and 2, a number of different, and also a parent with low blood sugar. So, a while back, I was deciding on to treat it or not. Had three admissions into mental health units, which were illegal. One individual in a police department played a role in one, but then decided to grow up, be a human, and decide to admit his wrongs. At that time, there was a civil suit was about to go into the appeal process, and when that lieutenant actually decided to admit a sitting judge in that area actually gagged, preventing any further emissions due to me wanting to stop treatment or to keep treatment, resulting in an approval by them, and the gag order was also supported by that department. And they had already admitted wrong, which resulted in me not appealing it and just stepping. It wasn't really a gag, it was more of a, well, kind of a gag. We're allowed to talk about that particular issue. But they're not able to, yeah, he gagged a particular department in the county from trying to illegally admit me. But here's the kicker: I decided not to appeal because the police department had decided that to admit to the wrongdoing, no financial penalties, because they admitted, they grew up. Now, in this case, if somebody from Glens Falls would admit, I'm not even going to say what I would do, but the reality is, it would be much lesser of a punishment on them, much lesser, not just from me, but even from others, if they were to grow up and admit to their wrongdoing. That's their choice. But I know the truth, and I have no reason to believe at this point that they're ever going to speak the truth. And yeah, so I will always speak up. I do speak up because I want to make sure that abuse does not continue. My incident happened on a mental health unit. We know that we're in a mental health crisis in our nation. How much more, how many more people have been abused or possibly being abused as I speak? Because Glens Falls Police Department puts the fact that that hospital brings in more money for that setting over the hospital's treatment of patients. Like they literally take the fact that they get more money and sit there and allow that place to abuse patients. Might as well put us back in mental health asylum ages where we had extreme abuse to patients, because it's allowed to take place there. How can you prosecute somebody for a simple assault when the records for them being there are either are destroyed, not filled out, or for some odd reason otherwise missing? That was basically what the citation was for. They had my admission paperwork and my discharge paperwork. They had no other paperwork in between. I was there for about 4 days. It is impossible for them to not have filled out other paperwork. Why would they be missing or destroying the paperwork? Pretty simple. All 4 of my limbs were tied above my torso for 52 plus hours, from 9 p.m. Friday all the way until 7 a.m. When the head of the security came in. However, he still failed to speak up. Reality is that when you do something like that and you take up the railings of a bed and you tie the patient's limbs to the top of the railings and not beside them, you are doing a torturing act. In this particular case, I had gout. It was pretty shocking and disturbing. I still have the scar from where the buckle probably late Friday went directly into the skin, causing a pretty grotesque scab, which was bleeding on Monday. And the scab was starting to form, and you can kind of tell that. I remember that, and I still have the scar from it. Yes, Gwen's Force decided to cover it up. Unless the truth will come out. The evidence I have is pretty shocking. I have not even released all of it. But yeah. The truth is coming out. I am working actually on a book. So people will know the truth. It's going to come out. I'm also going to redact some of my medical records and post them online. So the truth's going to come out. But you're not going to message me going, oh, we don't know anything about these incidents. Yes, you do. You're not going to message me to contact somebody that was involved. Now, I went down to the police department a number of times trying to get it reported. And trying to get them to investigate it. They were even sued, but this was, of course, because they have qualified immunity, or they had qualified immunity. Courts have started to recognize that should not be the case in every case. I did not have the ability at the time to appeal the district court's decision due to finances and other stuff. But yeah, so you know, you 100% know, and you're not going to sit there and tell me, no, you don't. And you're not going to sit there and tell me to contact somebody who does know. And you're not going to tell me who you are. Not going to do all of that and expect any result. Just grow up. You did wrong. Take the punishment. Punishment will be 100% less. Not 100% but less, but very, very darn less than if you don't. Truth will come out. Truth will prevail.